Hello everybody. Today is Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2013. I decided to blog with my progress. I'm preparing myself for bariatric surgery, and I wanted to blog my progress. I think that if I blog, it'll become, I guess, less scary, and for those out there who are preparing themselves for surgery or who are wanting to get the surgery. I know for me, I logged onto YouTube, and I was really trying to filter through some videos of those that have a similar case as mine. I actually have something called mitral valve prolapse. And mitral valve prolapse is actually, with my mitral valve prolapse, I deal with a slight regurgitation with the valve in the heart. So I'm actually dealing with like a hairline regurgitation, which means that I have blood that instead of it flowing forward, every now and again it'll flow backwards. It'll almost like regurgitate in the heart. And my cardiologist has told me not to get the valve corrected. Let's just wait to see what happens. This has been going on for maybe about 5 or 6 years. And over the last 5 or 6 years, I've yo-yo dieted up and down, and I know that this has some type of bearing on my heart. So, or the weight has, although he seems to think that it really doesn't. He says, he encourages me to lose weight. However, when you have mitral valve prolapse, it really doesn't make a difference whether you're small or thin. A lot of people have it. I just deal with the slight regurgitation. So, for me, because I've yo-yo dieted, and there's no recluse for me, I just, I've gone through a bad bout of, or a bad series, I should say, of deaths in the family. And recently, or a few years back, I lost my brother, and almost 4 or 5 years now, and it still seems like yesterday. It's still one of the hardest things that I've had to deal with, as he and I were extremely close. I think that he and I were probably closer than my mom and I, because there are times when, I guess, when you have attitudes or upset with your parents, you still have a brother or sister to turn to, and he was that person that I would always turn to no matter what. Whether I was happy or sad, going out, and we had so many things in common. We both shared common grounds with music. I'm in the entertainment industry, and I owe it all to him. I'm in the entertainment industry because of him. Ever since children, we've been lovers of music and lovers in the entertainment industry, and he's kind of been my backbone through it all. I have a music label under the Universal Music Group umbrella, and it's because of him that I've pursued my dream, and I'm living my dream of owning a label and other facets in the entertainment industry. But because I'm in the entertainment industry, it's really difficult. I guess I gotta. Dr. Phil says you can't change what you don't acknowledge, and because I'm here talking to you, I want to change the fact that I'm morbidly obese. Last time I tipped the scale, it was 301 point something. Prior to that, I guess my highest weight that I've ever calculated on a scale was 315 pounds, and it just blew me away. Coming from childhood, I've always been a very small child up into teenagehood. I think during school, I was probably between a 3 and a 5, never higher. In high school, I was probably maybe a 9, 10. The highest ever was an 11, 12, and that was after high school. And then, of course, even at that time, I was trying to lose weight, and I would get down back to a 7 or a 10. And Actually, I had an adverse effect when I was younger. My mother used to take me to the doctor to because I was always very, very thin and I never wanted to eat. And of course, I dealt with being, a guinea pig and dealing with experimental drugs. And I'm not sure if that's the reason why I'm as heavy as I am today. But I hate it. I can't stand it. Of course, with the depression and the yo-yo dieting, I've tried every diet known to man. I think Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, Lindora, Fen-Phen, Dexatrim, Zenadrin, Hydroxycut, you name it, I've done it. And it could be the reason why I deal with now with the heart situation. I don't know. But it could be possibly the reason. But I'm, miserable carrying this weight around. I'm about 5'6", 5'7", and it's just miserable. I've gotten to the point where I cannot sleep at night. I do not have sleep apnea. However, I'm borderlining diabetes, and also I have high blood pressure. So, I deal with a really, really bad case of insomnia. I'm up all night. Actually, for the last week or so, since I've known I was going to have the surgery, for some reason I'm sleeping better. I'm not sure if it's a mental thing, but for some reason that's how I'm feeling. So I decided to blog. I think it would be easy for me if I do. At least, I wanted to talk to people who are dealing with the same thing I'm dealing with. Fear, anxiety, slight depression, and not necessarily, severe panic attacks or anything like that. But I do deal with anxiety, the fear of, oh my God, what's going to happen? How am I going to feel after the surgery? Sometimes I watch these videos where people say, soon after, there's that regretful feeling or that feeling of, why did I do this? And so I just wanted to blog my progress. And for somebody that's out there that's dealing with my type of weight, everybody that I've run across the internet are in their 200s. And so I wanted to give that realistic number and a realistic, not saying that theirs isn't, but I know that there's much heavier people out there that want to deal with somebody that's on the same page. So I just wanted to cater to you. And in doing so, I wanted to kind of release some of the anxiety that I'm dealing with. And I think that if I blog, then it'll be much easier for me. So some of the concerns that I have, of course, are the hair loss or the hair thinning, the loose skin, and the sipping of the water, and I guess the natural things that you would think about, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing for me? However, I do know that I'm doing the right thing for me because I've not been successful at anything else. The best diet that I've had for me was the Weight Watcher diet. And that was because I went to the meetings. I was faithful. I worked out faithfully every single day except for Sunday. And, in doing so, I lost 87 pounds. Over the last 5, maybe 7 years now, I've gained that weight back. And then some. My highest weight prior to Weight Watchers was 272 pounds. And then with Weight Watchers, I got down to, I guess it was 287 pounds. I got down to 200. Then I gained weight up to like 228. And with Weight Watchers, that was the last time I stood on the scale. And of course, when you lose a large amount of weight like that, you start feeling good. You start buying smaller clothes. You start feeling sexy. Then I started becoming the buddy dieter. And what I mean by that is everybody wanted me to be their, diet partner and do this and do that. And nobody ever followed through. Hey, will you go with me to the gym? Will you wait for me? And things like that. And then when I did, say yes and attempted to wait for my friends to go to the gym and they would flake on me, then those would be the days that I'd flake. And then the rest was downhill. It was just history. Then when you stop stepping on the scale and you start, ooh, a burger, ooh, a pastrami, or ooh, the great food that you love, it's okay to have those foods. But as an obese person, once you start having them and start eating them every day and you forget that you're on a diet, well, of course, you know what happens. You start gaining weight, and the rest is history. And that's why I'm here today talking about bariatric surgery. So that's the real of it. I'm actually starting Friday. I'll be starting my liquid only diet, and I've already started with the sippy cup. And I tried to find a sippy cup that was adult-like, and I just really started today. And as you can see, there's no water that comes out, but a few sucks of that. It doesn't even feel like you're drinking water. But my best friend had she had the sleeve done, and she said if you gulp water, you'll regret it, and you'll just be in a lot of pain. And of course, I think you deal with the regurgitating and all of that other stuff. So she's like, she starts sipping now. So that's where I am. I got the sippy cup today. I'll start sipping. And one of my fears is that for me, I love to drink, and even with water, I love to drink water. I drink water. I constantly, I don't leave the house without carrying a water bottle. I'm always carrying water. So, and drinking water. So for me, that's kind of like part of my paranoia. I drink a lot of water, and I drink, not a whole lot of soft drinks, but even with water, and or soft drinks at the dinner table, I'll drink and eat like most people do. But I think I'm a little bit more excessive. I think I drink, water and or whatever type of liquid more than the average person. So that's my concern. And then I think, well, how is it? I've been sipping on the sippy cup all day, and I drank half of it in a matter of 3 or 4 hours. And I was thinking, how is it that I'm going to get a liter or two in with the sippy cup? So I have yet to go to my nutrition class. I went to one of the nutrition classes that basically talk about sipping and drinking, but I haven't went to the main class. I just went to the one, the pre-surgery class, the one that they kind of like talk to you and let you know these are basically the ounces that you'll be eating, and they show you these little cups. And I think at that time, only because I've done it so many times in the past, it's detoured me in my thinking and saying, hey, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to do this. I'm not. And so I basically have, for the last 10 or so years, have backed out of having the surgery. Originally, it was the Roux-en-Y that I was going to have. And that my sister actually had the gastric bypass, and she didn't do too well. Well, she did well, don't get me wrong. She lost the weight, but she dealt with some issues. She had her gallbladder, it had to be removed. She dealt with low sodium issues, low potassium. In addition to that, she had a codependency issue or problem, and I think because of that, she was always in the hospital. She dealt with a lot of nausea, and but I do have to say that since she dealt with sobriety, she no longer had the nausea and the hospitalization. So I think that was part of her problem. So as I'm looking at the time here, I think I'm going to run out of time, so I'm going to do a part 2.